If you're serious about getting the very best footage from your HoverAir Pro Max, you're definitely going to want to pick up a set of these. What I have here are ND filters for the Pro Max. And you may wonder, why do I need ND filters? What's wrong with this drone as is? Nothing's wrong with this drone, but what these ND filters will allow you to do, these will allow you to get footage that feels much faster and more intense. And there are a lot of advantages to this. This little drone, with all that this can do, when this is following you on those adventures and weaving in and out of things, it's going to make it feel much more intense. These ND filters are going to allow you to slow down the shutter speed on your drone. When it does that, that slower shutter speed is going to give you that really nice motion blur, and it's going to really capture the full speed and intensity of the adventures that you capture with this. And the great thing is you only have to change one setting after attaching this filter, and the drone does the rest. So first, let me show you how to attach this filter. So first, we want to select the filter that we think is going to be right for our lighting conditions. So currently, the sun is starting to get lower in the sky. It is very bright though, but if we're going in and out of the shadows, chances are ND16 is probably going to work for us. So we're going to pick out ND16, which is right up here. But before I do that, I'm going to slide the default lens cover on here off so I can slide on the ND16 filter. Make sure your drone is powered off, and you're just going to push up a little bit on this from the bottom, and it's going to slide right off the top just like that. So there's not any actual glass in here or plastic, it's just open. So then what you're going to do is you're going to select your ND filter, and we're going to slide it down on here. So I'm going to select my ND16, and I'm going to put the default lens cover back in there. That way I don't lose it. What I'm gonna do here is I'm going to slide this down over. And a helpful tip, you wanna make sure the thicker part is at the top right here. And when we get it on here, we're going to notice that it clicks into place very nicely. It makes a really nice audible click there. And then that's what it looks like. You just wanna make sure it's fully seated on there, that there's no weird gaps, anything like that. Everything looks good there. So the next thing you want to do is you just want to make sure that there's no fingerprints or smudge on the lens. There is a lens wipe cloth that HoverAir includes with these filters. So we're going to take that and just wipe it off here to make sure it's all clean of fingerprints. And then I'm going to power it on. And there's going to be one setting that we need to change. So I'm going to bring up the Hover app on my phone, and I'm going to show you what that setting is. So I'm going to go here where it says Hover, and it connected, and we're gonna go here to Hover settings. So what we want to do here, down here under general settings where it says ND filter optimization, we want to uncheck the ND32 and we want to select the ND16. So you can hear it acknowledge that. Now I do recommend going into the manual mode just to make sure things are properly exposed. So you can check on your phone, and as long as your ISO is above 100 and your shutter speed is 1/60 or above, that means your ND filter is not too strong. What you want to do is you want to make sure you don't put on such a strong ND filter that it has to bump your ISO way up in order to properly expose. You don't want to get above ISO 800, or that's going to introduce some grain and noise into your footage. So you want to do a quick manual check and just make sure all the variables look good there. In this case, I'm sitting at a shutter speed of 1/60 and an ISO that's set to auto, but it's fluctuating between about 200 and 400, so that's perfect. So what I did is I filmed a bunch of samples with ND filters on here, both of me flying it manually and with this following me on my bike. And I'm gonna share a bunch of these here so you can see what it looks like. So if you check these out here, first of all, where I was manually flying it, where I'm going along the ground, check out that incredible motion blur. If I pause it here for a moment, you can see it really shows the full speed and intensity of that motion. And let's check out this scene here where I have this following me on my bike. Now, obviously, when I'm moving along at 10 to 12 miles per hour, without an ND filter, it's not really gonna show that motion at all. It's gonna feel like I'm moving really slow, which 10 to 12 on a bike is not that fast, of course. But when I have this on, this really adds intensity and speed to the motion, and it gives it a much more realistic, fast, interesting feel. If you were to watch footage with really sharp frames or footage with this motion blur in it, you're going to be much more likely to probably stick around longer to watch the adventure that looks fast and intense than something that looks slow and boring. So I highly recommend checking out these ND filters if you want to find ways to get even better footage from your HoverAir Pro Max. I'll link to these in the description below.